With the arrival of a fifth little blessing, Larry and Mariana Peperato needed more space than they had at Hawksworth Apartments in Greensburg. So in 1981, they purchased for $38,000 what would be our family home for 35 years, 9 South 5th Street. We're now on the front porch, and if you look out front, you can see down below where we have some nice plants. For a long time, that was all black plastic because when Mom tried to plant there, neighborhood kids would rip up the plants, and so it was kind of pointless, but it is nice now. And this front porch is the spot where we used to stand every 4th of July and watch the Youngwood fireworks, and that was always a lot of fun, although now it looks like the trees would be in the way. But here we are, front porch. We're looking at the downstairs bathroom, which is only a half bath, and as you can see is very small, but somehow it worked for 6 kids getting ready for school every day, fighting for some real estate in the mirror. And we have no idea how it worked logistically, but somehow we made it work. This was also the place where we would be on the phone because through the wall on the other side of the bathroom was the family phone with an actual cord, yes. And so we would drag that cord into the bathroom and close the door on it. Thankfully, we never ruined the cord, and talk to our friends until somebody needed to use the bathroom and kicked us out. But we definitely had a lot of drama and intrigue spoken in this room by everybody on a real phone back before cell phones were a thing everywhere. And we all remember our phone number, 925-3844.
Well, this is our kitchen. It's not very big, but it's homey, and our family spent a lot of time here. I certainly did. Cooking a lot of dinners, breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and lunches for school. Kids were sneaking their food into each other, whatever they didn't like. and I had no idea about it. Christopher one time said that he sneaked into the food in the evening when everybody was in bed, I guess. Tried to open the silverware drawer, but it was making a lot of noises. Squeaky noises. I guess he hadn't been oiled or whatever since 1970, so he closed the drawer and went to bed because he thought mommy heard it and he was going to get in trouble. Mom did all the dishes because kids will fight over it and say, no, it's not my turn. So I ended up doing all the dishes. And they did spend a lot of time around the kitchen table too, having a lot of conversations while I was doing whatever cleaning and cooking or whatever. But they were so loud that I would send them out on the back porch and shut the door so I can have a break from all the noises. Dad, he also liked to play with the kids. He chased them around the house. They played hide and seek. He liked to scare them. He would hide in a closet door, the entrance closet, and they would be like hiding all over the house, and they had lots of fun with it. And I guess that's it about the kitchen.
This is just a move to the back porch. We took an original back porch and enclosed it and made a TV room out of it. But this was a source of great pleasure for all the kids and for me because when it was still a porch, it was screened in, and the kids could come out here and sleep during the summer months when it was hot upstairs, and they enjoyed that. It was like camping out for them. I specifically remember the summer that Laura dumped a glass of water down the TV, into the TV, that shorted it out and pretty much killed the entertainment for everybody. So I decided we would spend some time out here on the back porch. We had a picnic table set up right here, and we played board games and charades and had the best summer I think we've had in this house. There was a lot of other good things that happened here on this porch, but I think the best was that we enclosed it and made it a TV room, and got to enjoy each other out here in the close confines.
Well, this is our dining room. When we bought the house, it was full of beautiful room, but full of wallpaper. And later on, we remodeled it, and this is where we spend our like a family room and dining room at once. We spend a lot of good times here. We have holiday dinners, and friends come over and spend a lot of good time here. And Michael gave a highly, I guess he was choking on a hot dog.
Heimlich.
Heimlich. He was choking on a hot dog, and one Christmas we surprised the kids with a little puppy under the dining room table. They were very excited about that. And I guess later on, when the kids got older, became adults, we spent a lot of time here, karaoke and playing Wii. There was lots of fun. And that's it.
This is the Pepperetto household. This is the living room. And there was a lot of activity in this room. Early on, in the early 80s, I remember the kids all going to bed early so that Santa Claus could come. And then Mom and Dad would stay up all night, decorating. Not just putting presents out, decorating. So that when the kids came down in the morning, it was like Christmas in here. The tree would sit in this corner, and this door opening was a window then. And presents would be piled, and streamers hung, and lights everywhere, and just a beautiful Christmas scene for them to see coming down these steps. I remember seeing the faces of the little ones especially, just mesmerized by everything. Just a beautiful Christmas decorated scene that Mariana put together. There was a lot of TV watching in here, cartoons, Saturday morning especially, TGIF. And I kind of enjoyed that myself as well. I remember the year we took all the living room furniture and moved it into the dining room. And that became our TV room. And this room became off limits. But still a lot of good memories here. These were the upstairs stairs. The only set of stairs to the upstairs. And that was the boys' bedroom door. Maybe you're wondering, why am I showing you the bedroom door? Well, there was an awful lot of chaos in that room over the years. And so when I hear something crash, if I was down here, I'd be running up these steps. Or if I was in my bedroom, I'd go running across the hallway. But nevertheless, it was always to this room. So I remember opening this door, not knowing what to expect, but seeing some unusual things. You see, we had piled 3 boys in here. Mike, Nick, and Chris. Mike was the Holy Terror, Nick was the crazy, and Christopher was just terrified. There was a single bed here and a bunk bed there against that wall. And a dresser here in this little cubby. So that didn't leave a lot of room. I mean, just imagine there was just a little walkway here. But they managed to use every bit of it. I remember hearing the thud, coming in here and seeing Christopher's mattress, him and his mattress laying on the floor because the other 2 knuckleheads had taken the bed slats out. And then the day that they decided to make a hammock, so they used a sheet, they tied a sheet off to the bunk beds and then to this tall dresser that sat in this corner. And when I came in, the dresser was pulled over onto the bunk bed, and Nicholas was stuck in the hammock, And everybody was looking at me with those wide eyes. And I'm thinking, holy crap, it's a wonder you guys aren't dead yet. This was the room also that Christopher managed to get his butt out of. And this was before this roof was on here. So this roof wasn't here. This was a straight drop to the ground, which was 20 feet away. And, you know, it would have been a disastrous event had he fallen out. But he was hanging feet and body out of the window, just hanging on for his dear life, waiting for someone to come and get him. The kids were down in the yard and saw him and came running up, and Mike saved him. So there have been lives saved, no doubt about it, in this room. Spared, maybe that's a better word. But that is the room. Lots of good times.
Here we are in the upstairs bathroom, and we had many good times up here as small children when we would take baths together. And one time Laura and Nick got themselves into the Vaseline, according to Mom and Dad, and spread it all over themselves, all over the floor and walls, and Dad had a fun cleanup to deal with. Other group baths would feature our floating toys, including the very memorable Gilligan's Island, and usually those baths would end when a floating poop was discovered. Vanessa recalls spending a lot of time in this bathroom as a kid. When she needed time alone, she would daydream, play, talk to invisible friends, figure out the meaning of life. One time she told Laura and I she had figured it out, but before she could tell us, she had to go to the bathroom. When she came back, she forgot, so I'm not sure if she's just keeping that to herself or what. The door to the attic is up here. Most of us had never spent much time at all in the attic. It's kind of a scary place. So mainly that door was access to the toilet paper and other cleaning supplies. And if we head to the window here, the boys tell a few stories of shooting pellet or BB guns out the window at some squirrels, so that even though we lived in town, they still had time for their outdoor adventures through the window.
I don't know if this room was talked about, but this was the off-limits room. This was my bedroom. This was Mom and Dad's bedroom. You just didn't come in here. You didn't have to lock the door, but it was always shut, and you didn't come in here. So our bed was in here in a couple different locations, filled with furniture. It was just a place to sleep. But really, the best part of this bedroom was this little nook back here. And this became Dad's sanctuary, where he could come and get away from the crazies that lived here. And, you know, play some games on his computer, just sit quietly. He did a lot of homework up here. Just mostly goofing. Never napped in here, though. I'll tell you what, there was a time that people did nap in here, though. As it turned out, the girls became overcrowded in their bedroom, and so Mom and Dad relinquished their bedroom, this bedroom, and took over the girls' room. The girls moved in here. Patty had this back room, and Vanessa and Laura had this larger room. There were two closets, one here and one here. So it was ideal for three girls, I thought. And I thought this room was ideal for Patty. She complained it was too small, but all she needed to do was sleep in here. So that was a short-lived couple years, maybe. And then we absconded the room back from them. I want to tell you, while we were young and growing up, Mom and Dad, that is, we spent a lot of good times in this room. Mom and Dad, that is. And when babies came along, they hung out in this room. This was the nursery. Crib right there. There were a lot of crazies in this crib here. I won't go into the details, but I was glad that they grew up and moved on. And that's the bedroom. Mom and Dad's bedroom. This was the girls' room. Not a big room. And again, 3 girls. So a set of bunks and a single bed. Gave them some room for a couple dressers and a closet that we added after the fact, which was nice. Good sized closet, which the girls filled up in no time flat. I don't remember a lot of chaos out of this room. I think the girls handled their stuff internally, to their credit. There were 3 pretty good girls. Gonna miss these moments.
Here we are in the room that for most years was the girls' bedroom. So imagine 3 beds across the room, a couple dressers. I don't know how we fit, but somehow we made it work. When we first moved into the house, Mom remembers when the Youngwood fire alarm went off, which is very loud. It's right a street down, that all the kids were in bed and ran downstairs frantically crying, and she thought we were so scared that we would fall down the stairs and hurt ourselves. I remember being in this room, and maybe it wasn't the first time, but the 3 of us girls were in bed, and we were all pretty young, and the fire alarm went off, and we all started screaming and crying, and Dad came up to explain to us what was going on. But after a while, we got very used to the fire alarm. As a matter of fact, one time we almost started our own fire in this room when at that light fixture over there, which at one point it was an antique brass light fixture, we hung an old plaid wool skirt over the light to dim it so that we could read without getting in trouble. And at some point we smelled something burning, and we looked, and a hole had been burnt through the skirt, but thankfully we caught it in time. I also remember the first night that Rena came home from the airport, and she shared this room with us for I don't know how long. So then we had 4 girls in this room, including Rena. She had the bed over by the window for a while, and I remember trying to talk to her that first night, and she didn't really speak much English, and I didn't speak Greek. I was only 7, and we definitely got to know each other over the years. In the summer, it would be so hot up here that us girls would take our sheets off our beds and take them to the bathroom and get them soaking wet, and then go to bed with wet sheets because that would cool us down a little bit. As the years went on and we all got our own alarm clocks, Vanessa and I don't know if Laura played a role in this, would have alarm clock wars because Vanessa liked to hit snooze a lot. So I would get annoyed and unplug it, and then she would try to get revenge by unplugging mine, and of course that led to a lot of drama and shenanigans. As I got even older, Mike found this room a convenient spot by which to crawl through the window and sneak out to hang out with his friends all night. It was still a little scary jumping off that roof, but he would have his friends meet him on the edge and help him out a little bit. He did try to teach me to sneak out, and I think maybe one night I successfully did it, but I felt pretty guilty, and I don't think I stayed out very long. And that was my one adventure in sneaking out of the house. Here is the garage, and in the background you can hear the church bells that we would hear all the time. This backyard looks a lot different than it used to. Right there in that spot used to be a pine tree that was pretty tall. I remember once Mike had a friend over when he was probably 6, I was 7, and I had him roll down the hill over and over to show off for us, while his friend and I snuck behind the tree and kissed a few times. And when we first moved in, this yard was all grass. And I remember wearing my pajamas the day we moved in and running around the yard with a wooden magic wand in my hand with a star on the end of it. And Mom says that there used to be 2 rose bushes right in the middle of the yard, but at first they were cutting over them. And then finally one day the grass grew long enough that she could tell they were rose bushes, so she had them protected, and they're still part of the yard today somewhere. This sidewalk is new. The old sidewalk was a pretty old, beat up sidewalk, and one of the stones had a big corner missing, so we called it the cornerstone, and it was our home base when we played tag in the backyard. A lot of times when we were on the backyard playing, we'd just be screaming for Mom to watch us while we did whatever our tricks were. Laura remembers doing that with a lot of cartwheels and handstands. We used to have a swing set somewhere here towards the back of the yard to middle. Mike remembers swinging really high on the swing set and jumping off at the highest point and landing flat on his back, knocking the air out of him. Laura remembers racing everyone to the swing set and having a huge fly get stuck in her nostril as she was running. Mike remembers when we had the run of these 3 yards because we didn't have neighbors on either side for a while, and he was running so fast that he killed a fly with his forehead while he was running. Mike used to spin the younger kids around in circles, wondering what would happen if he let them go. Hopefully he never did. There was a fun game we used to play in the yard where we'd throw a lawn dart up in the air and then run for cover before it landed. Somewhere back here I remember once, this is very cheesy of course, making all of us kids stand in a circle holding hands singing "We Are the World, We Are the Children." We had a bunch of these river stones that were here original when we moved into the house, and they're probably just mixed in with the other stones that have been added over the years. But Mike used to have to move those stones every summer to make them into a sidewalk or a patio or a wall. That was definitely one way he grew all those muscles over the years. The alley behind us, Laura remembers racing Nick in the alley and winning when she was about 8 or so, feeling like she could conquer anything, which of course only lasted until Nick's next growth spurt. And we all rode our bikes up and down this alley. The most famous bike I remember was Vanessa's Daisy, which was white with pink streamers. Mike remembers Nick riding down this sidewalk on a swivelly riding thingy. We cannot remember the name of it. But the most evident factor in the yard now is Mom's hobby and love for gardening, and all of the time that she and Dad put into shopping at Wolf's Nursery and Lowe's and who knows where else, and bringing home truckloads of plants and materials and mulch to make this nice oasis in the backyard. Even the koi pond that was here for a number of years, which Mike claims Alex fell into once, but now has a nice little fountain in it. And this back patio we spent many hours on, grilling and hanging out as a family. And right above here is the boys' bedroom window, and I still remember once watching Christopher's legs dangling out of it, fearing he was about to fall. But he made it. I think Mike ran upstairs and saved him. Those are just some of the many memories we have here in the backyard. I'm barely tapping it.
Everyone else is involving him. It's like that episode of SNL. Someone dancing on the curb.
Alex, you look so natural. You're like guarding yourself. He's like guarding himself against like being hit against.
This is so fucking weird.
This might be, in circles that don't know us, the sexiest thing that's ever happened.
Are you recording a video?
No.
I really hope you're not recording it.
No, I'm not. I'm not. No, I'm not.
Just making it flash, dude. What?
I'm making a flash.
That's a different
No, he's
camera.
not.
I can see it. I can see it.
No,
on
he's
me
not.
right now.
Hey,
No, he's not.
hey.
What crap are you on?
Don't, hey,
Don't forget box in, box out.
don't worry, baby. Just let it happen.
What?
Box out.
Oh, Laura has
Jesus.
Laura has her club arm on. It's not going anywhere.
You're in mine! Box in! You're letting him box out right now.
That is like you're letting him escape.
Alex, you're showing some smooth moves right now. Right?
No one's here, Dad.
You look like you're similar to Stonehenge right now.
Okay, so after this, we have to bring one of you boys in the middle, and you're gonna reinterpret the whole thing.
Yes.
So decide who's gonna do it. Rock, paper, scissors.
I'll go. Wanna go or you want me to go?
Because we're picking on Alex. I'm gonna see one of them in here and see what
Rochambeau.
happens. Ready? Pick
Whoever
on
wins
Angela.
goes in.
All right.
Deal.
Yeah.
I go.
High five. Thank you for putting up with your craziness. All right, which one of our brothers?
I wanted you to have a perspective. When we moved into this house 35 years ago, nobody lived here or on the other side of us. There were all different neighbors in all of these houses, across the alley, across the street, on either side of us for 3 houses down. On both sides, different people. So we're the last of the originals that came here. It was an easier time, a simpler time back then. This is all grass. Now it's a big flower garden. This was an old white framed house, and it got an up facelift and a little updating in the back end. I just wanted you to see it as it is now, because it really wasn't that pretty back then. This old dogwood tree is one of the finest specimens you will ever see for its age. Lots of plants, lots of trees, lots of shrubs. Forgive the mess out front. We are cleaning, putting stuff out for the garbage, loading things up onto Patty's truck. One last haul. Look past the trash and just see the house. This view from our flowering cherry tree. Stuck a few little ornamental pillars in, built a wall, landscaped it. Love that bay window. I put that in there about 25 years ago. Keep the front porch painted blue and white. It's a big old house. It fit us. 6 kids, 2 adults, 3 if you count Rena for a time. New ride. I know it has nothing to do with the house, but thought you should see it. I love my new truck. The house is the most important thing, though. It's where our lives were lived. Even the side of the houses. Plants, shrubs, and trees. It's been like this for years. That window right there. Old Mikey climbed out that window and jumped to the ground. It's a heck of a jump. Not hurt yourself. He was a crazy man. Just to sneak out. Lots of trees, lots of shrubs, lots of bushes. Ground cover. More cherries. The old garage out back. This was originally the main rose garden, but it has slowly evolved into lilies, and which I'm going to tell you is kind of strange to see at this time of the year. We're talking October 22nd or 3rd here, and lilies are blooming. Japanese maple in the corner. Beautiful garden. This was the pond area. Was, I say, because the liner finally gave up. And so instead of tearing it apart and rebuilding it, we decided to fill it in, put a little fountain. And the fountain's okay. It's been good. That's a hanging pine. Weeping pine.
Weeping white pine.
And a weeping maple, Japanese maple. A couple boxwoods that hide the electrical post.
And the ornamental grass.
A lot of ornamental grasses around. Benches you can go out and sit. Really nice garden. I wanted you to see the patio. This grill, the boys and the girls got together and bought Dad a grill. And it was a nice grill, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I took it back and got what I wanted. And that grill's been faithful to us for many years. We ate a lot of barbecued meat out here on this patio. This covered patio was a sanctuary. It was an outdoor room that we used to enjoy holidays and anytime we had meat to grill.
All season.
Yeah, all season. I think we are going to fondly miss this house.
Yep. Yes, we are.
We'll probably compare it to our new digs.
No comparison.
Well, it wasn't like this in the beginning. It took a lot of work, a lot of money, and a lot of piles of stone to be moved back and forth from one side of the yard to the other. As Nick and Mike and Chris can attest. Well, Mike and Nick can. You know, I remember we used to play tag out here when the kids were little. There was a tiny garden right here, and there was a broken stone on the sidewalk. We called it the cornerstone. And that cornerstone was space. So I would come out and the kids would take delight in me chasing them around until they could get back to base. A lot of screaming and yelling, having fun.
Yep.
But after they got older, it became clear that we had to do other things with this back area here, and so your mother had the great idea of this garden. This garden has been a work in progress for a lot of years, and
It's like paradise here.
yeah, it's really a beautiful place to come out and sit and just enjoy nature.
How many people they walk in through that door, the back fence? And they walk in, they stand on the top step and they go, ah. They just look around and they say, Marianne, I just love your garden. It feels like it's a different world when I'm coming here. Yep. And I'm proud of it. That's the thing that I'm going to miss the most. Well, one of the things I'm going to miss the most is the garden. Our creation actually.
Well, your creation, my hard work.
Yeah, wow.
Me and the boys. I find it hard to conclude this chapter.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to make you understand how
Difficult, hard.
how rich our lives became because
Of all the things that were created, including our kids, and other memories,
of this house.
good memories in this house. Yep. And I'm sure the kids have their own. Maybe we sneak back one day and see or kill them if they change anything. I'm gonna knock on the door and say, "Can I see my garden?" Yeah. I'm just hoping we sell it to somebody who loves everything, inside and out.
Yeah.
Yep. Then I'll be happy.
Wow. Believe it or not, we are happy.
Yeah. Maybe we'll create something little at Michael's. Just a small memory.
Love you.
Love you guys.
God bless you.